Alright, I wanted to give you guys a short video of just showing you some of the maneuvering and turning with the yoke. A lot of people have a problem with the yoke. When I first got this, which was a few days ago, it was an adjustment to kind of understand where I'm going to place my hands. People, they drive up on the top. I've noticed that this is a posture I'll sit in sometimes with the yoke, or you can go one hand over here, which gives you the opportunity to kind of just rest. I've actually noticed that if you're an autopilot, you can kind of keep the pressure on the wheel a little bit nicer because you can have your elbow on the right side and keep pressure down on the bottom. It wasn't really easy to do that on my X, but on the Yoke, it's really easy to do that. It feels a little wider than a normal wheel. And I'll show you a little bit of what, your body just kind of habitually adjusts, which I know some people say, okay, you shouldn't have to adjust, but it's really not been a big issue for me driving this. This posture is great for when you're driving faster or moving. You can see you engage turn signal here. And I do notice that as I turn, it's a pretty simple move. I know some people have talked about maybe, bigger turns. So I'll go into a parking lot up here and show you, what it feels like to do multi-point turns. But you can see there's some little nubs up here that you can put your hands on. I haven't found it to be a huge challenge, but again, I'll defer to others. It's an opinion thing for sure. But I've adjusted pretty quickly, and once I adjusted, I haven't really found it to be a hindrance. Not necessarily like a huge feature add, I would say, but it definitely feels nice. It's nice to see the instrument cluster, and you can see some of the turning and how I do it. I have noticed sometimes coming over here before a big turn, so as I get up here to another place, I'll show you. There's a little bit of a roundabout coming up here, so I'll take the roundabout all the way around just to show you how my hands would handle that by normal standards. So you can kind of see you can come over like this, like you would a normal wheel, but it's not too bad to just turn that around. And I'm driving the long range S. I think I might have been one of the first deliveries on that. I'm not exactly sure why that was. I was supposed to be October. Ordered it in June of 21. It was supposed to be October. I'll actually scoot right here. See, engages the signal on the yoke. And a big turn. It's really, I think the biggest thing was seeing all the negative press on it. I was expecting it to be extremely cumbersome, and I could see that being the case, I guess, if you were doing some more elaborate maneuvers, but for the most part, everything I'm doing is pretty basic, and I haven't really seen a significant issue of any kind. And like I said, there's some driving postures that I have found, feel really normal. It took a little time to get adjusted to the turn signals being a button, but not a big deal. There's a right turn, and it's pretty smooth. So I've been driving on, let me see here, I am on the standard steering mode for the Yoke, for the car. And we'll take a turn into here and do like a 3-point turn, and you guys can kind of see what that looks like. Take my next right up here. But I know, Caleb, you're behind the camera. Did you have any thoughts on watching me drive?
It does seem like there's tighter turns on it. Of course, I'm not driving it, but I know that.
So you can see, turn in here.
It does seem like you have to turn more, just turning right or something.
You mean like turn the wheel more?
Yeah, it's turn the wheel more. Of course, I haven't
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I've noticed is that when you are when you're making a big turn, like I'll go ahead and I'll do a U-ey here. But if you do a big turn and you go hand over fist and you turn like this, or like I pull into a parking spot at the house, you're used to being able to let the hand slide. So a full turn, you're used to letting the hand be able to slide on the wheel and get back to regular. And I think that's the part that I've noticed is the most different and maybe awkward, because I mean obviously it's not a wheel, so not being able to have the wheel slide in your hands is a little bit different. But you know, I think there's pros and cons with it, and I think it feels pretty comfortable and pretty solid for somebody that I think was expecting the worst based on, you know, people's speculation. But having actually gotten in the vehicle, had the opportunity to try it out, I'll go ahead and do a 3-point turn in here. So you guys can see the stalks and everything. So if I was just making a turn like this, hit stop, flip into reverse, turn it around, back into drive, and we are off. So nothing crazy, pretty familiar. I'll admit a little bit different and a little bit awkward at times. I have found I can turn like this too, which is a different posture. If you know you have a hard turn, like I'll do this one here, you can grab it right here and go over the top. I notice I've done that on straight right turns, is, you know, being able to just turn it hard like that. So again, more of a non-issue, and the car is so great that maybe I'm biased. You know, I think a lot of people would imagine if you spend that amount of money on a car, you're going to love it no matter what. But you know, I've driven, we've had a Model X for a really long time, and so I'm very familiar with driving with a wheel. I'm very familiar with driving with driving a Tesla in general. And once you're used to it, once you've made the adjustment, which is, you know, to be honest, that's like any car. When you get a brand new car, you learn your blind spots, your mirrors, how you feel in it, the size of the vehicle when you're moving in and out of traffic. And once that 2 or 3 day acclimation period took place, I think the best way to summarize the Yoke is basically that it's a non-issue. It's not something that I'm freaked out about or worried about. I'm getting really used to it, and I would say even like the gears inside of just all being in here without being on the stalks have not bothered me one little bit. So yeah, that's I guess all I have in terms of a basic demo of how the Yoke works. But we're going to come out with some more videos here soon, showing off the UI, some of the interior of the long range, and any questions you guys have in the comments, let us know what you'd like to see, since I know there aren't a lot of these long ranges out there quite yet, and I know Caleb and I would be happy to show you. So that's it.